Earn an Autodesk certificate of completion by completing all Fusion 360 monthly challenges. Join us as we all master parametric sketches and constraints. Forward your email to join the learning fun and check out more info at the link in the description below. And for this video, we will be creating the challenge for April. Let's get started. Now our challenge is in the units of inches. So we're going to change active units, unit type to be inch, and hit OK. And if this is your first time, I'd like you to make sure that under Preferences, selecting Preview, your sketch is turned on. Hitting OK. Let's start with the rectangular base. I'm going to hit R to grab our rectangle. Now we are prompted to select a plane or face, selecting our XZ plane. Left click. Now under feature options, I'm going to change my rectangle to center rectangle. And I'm going to go to home view just to have an isometric view. Our first point at the origin. The length. I'm going to key in 5, hitting tab, and keying in 3 for the width, hitting enter. Let's extrude this sketch profile now. I can hit stop sketch and grab extrude, or I can immediately hit E for extrude. Prompted to select a profile, selecting our rectangular profile, dragging this arrow up, the height to be 1.5. Operation U body, and hitting OK. Next, let's create the rectangular cut here at the bottom. I'm going to hit R to enter rectangle and sketch mode. Now I wanted to select the plane, but the plane is inside. So to select this one, I can hold my left mouse button, hovering over your target selection, and a drop down will appear. So our intent is to select XY. Selecting XY. Going to grab our center rectangle once more. Hover over our origin, moving up. Left click. The value for this one, the one highlighted in blue, is 0.56. Hitting tab and keying in 3.25. Hitting enter. Now we are currently sketching at the middle. In addition, we can also select slice. So going back to front view or look at, I'd like to align our center point for this rectangle and our origin vertically. Selecting horizontal vertical, selecting this point and this point. Selecting this line and our origin. So once more, selecting our coincident, this line and this origin. Our profile sketch now fully constrained. Hitting E for extrude, and for the profile, selecting this rectangle. But first, I'm going to hit cancel and uncheck slice. Hitting E once more, holding my left mouse button and selecting profile. The direction to be 2 sides. In addition, I want the sides under extent to be 2 object. Same with side 2 to object. So selecting this arrow and this face. Activating side 1, selecting this arrow and this face. Now the advantage of this attack is that whenever our width increases, our cut extrusion will also follow. So take note of my settings, and finally hitting OK. I'm going to turn off the visibility of our sketch too. Next, hitting R once more to grab our rectangle. Now for the plane, I'd like to select our middle plane for this instance, which is our XY plane. So hovering over here, holding my left mouse button and selecting XY. Changing my rectangle to a center rectangle type. Hovering over our origin, moving up, left click here, and left click at this intersection. Hitting D for dimension. Based on our drawing, we have a dimension from here up to here, which is 1. Hitting enter. In addition, notice that my previous command was a dimension. Now, if that is the case, we can always hold our right mouse button and slide up to repeat. So selecting this top horizontal line and our bottom edge. Left click here to drop our dimension. The height for this one or dimension is 3.79. Hitting enter. Next, I'd like to align this point and our origin vertically, selecting this point, holding control. So I am in the dimension, hitting escape, and reselecting our point once more and our origin, holding control. Right click and selecting horizontal vertical. It turned into black, meaning it's fully constrained. Hitting E for extrude. Direction to be 2 sides as well. So repeating our previous procedure, which has the option of 2 object. So same here, 2 object for side 2. The profile is this rectangular profile. So once more, activating side 1 object. Left click this arrow and this face. Changing it to extend faces. Activating object for side 2. Selecting this arrow and this face. Changing our chain faces to extend faces. So inspecting and finally hitting OK. And in order for us to create the slanted profile, what we should do is head over to construct and select or create a plane at angle. We are prompted to select a line, selecting this edge. I'm going to go to front view and rotate our plane. So keying in just to make sure, -30. And finally hitting OK. Next, let's select this newly created plane. Right click and select Create Sketch. Zooming out. Let's project references. I'm going to go to our construction folder and turn on plane 1. Next, heading up to Sketch, selecting Project Include. Selecting intersect, selection filter to be bodies, and selecting this body. So take note of our projection, hitting OK, going back to look at. Now I can create the sketch here, but for this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate creating the sketch here and only half of our profile. So first, I'm going to hit L for line. I'm going to create a vertical line. Left click, hitting escape. Now this line will serve as our construction line. So selecting this line and hitting X. Next, hitting L once more for line. Let's create a line. Left click here. Next, I'm going to hold my left mouse button to create an arc. Release. Left click here, moving up, left click, left click, left click, and go to the intersection of our construction line. Left click. Hitting escape. Hitting S for our sketch toolbox, typing ARC, selecting 3-point arc. Left click at this endpoint and this endpoint, and left click here. Hitting escape. Let's grab our constraints. Going to horizontal, vertical. I'd like this endpoint and this point to be aligned horizontally. Zooming in. Selecting coincident. I'd like this center point and our construction line. Next, hitting D for dimension, selecting our vertical line and the center point. Dropping our dimension here. I'm going to key in 1.88. Hitting enter. Selecting this arc. Dropping our dimension here. Keying in 0.81. Hitting enter. Grabbing our center point and this horizontal. Dropping our dimension here. So this one is already over constrained. The reason for this one is already defined by 0.81, so no need to dimension here up to here. So next, selecting this vertical line and this vertical line. Hitting escape, double left click this one to change the value to 0.63. Hitting enter. Same here, selecting this line and this vertical line. Left click here, keying in 1, hitting enter. Selecting this horizontal line and this horizontal line. Dropping our dimension here, keying in 0.69, hitting enter. Let's grab our dimension, selecting this arc, dropping our dimension here. The value for this one is 1.5, hitting enter. Next, selecting this center point and this endpoint, dropping our dimension here, keying in 3.81, hitting enter. Next, this one moved up, so I'm going to pull this horizontal line down. And grabbing our dimensions, selecting this line, dropping our dimension here, keying in 0.34, hitting enter, zoom out. Next, hitting L for line. Let's create a line from here, here, and here. Hitting escape. Grabbing constraints, horizontal, vertical, selecting this center point and this point. Hitting escape, selecting this line and this line. Right click and select perpendicular. Next, hitting D for dimension, selecting this line. Drop our dimension here, keying in 1.13, hitting enter. Next, selecting this line and this line and this line. Right click and select equal. Let's zoom out. Next, hitting L, let's create a line from here up to here. The intent here is to locate the midpoint. So hitting S, typing PO, selecting point, dropping this at the midpoint of this line, left click, hitting escape, selecting this line, hitting X, making this as a construction line. Next, let's grab our vertical line and this point, right click and select midpoint. So this one turned into black, meaning it's fully constrained. And at this moment, this is the perfect situation to introduce our marker, in which we can go back in time and edit a specific feature. So I'm going to hit stop sketch and move our marker here at this in between plane 1 and sketch. So release. Also, I can select these buttons to move this step by step. So in this moment and instance, I'm going to hit S and type SPL, selecting split body. The body to split is this one. Splitting tool is this plane. Hitting OK. I'm going to expand our bodies, selecting this body. Right click and select remove. And finally, we can pull our marker at the end or select this next step. Next, going back to our sketch and selecting edit sketch, zooming in. Now notice our sketch entities is now in the color of blue, meaning unconstrained. Moving this one here. Reselecting our coincident constraint, selecting this point and this point, this point and this point. So now they are fully constrained. Hitting escape, typing S for sketch toolbox, typing MI, selecting mirror. I'm going to activate mirror line first and select our construction line. Activating objects, selecting everything. This line, this line, this arc, this line, this line. Inspecting. So we forgot the circle. Going to hit OK, hitting C. Let's create the circle here. The diameter to be 0.88. Hitting S. Let's mirror again. This object, the circle, activating mirror line. Our construction line and hitting OK. Inspecting, and let's turn off the visibility of plane 1. Let's now grab our extrude tool, selecting this profile, moving this one down. Let's change the extent to object. Left click this arrow and this face. Operation cut and hitting OK. Next, hitting E once more and selecting this profile. Let's move this one up. And left click here as well, adding this profiles. The height to be 1. Hitting OK. Inspecting. And turning off the visibility of sketch 4. From here, you can now add the fillets and rounds, which is 0.25. Now, OUOS means unless otherwise stated. So congratulations for completing our part model, and see you on the next Fusion 360 monthly challenge. This video tutorial is sponsored by MSI Workstations, the ultimate desktop replacement for serious Autodesk power users.